Welcome to Leaders and Learners. My name is Tanya McKenzie, and you can find me at the intersection of public relations and leadership. Join us as we talk to organizational leaders, elected officials, experts, authors, artists, and personalities, sharing their stories, talking about how they got to where they are and how they continue to learn and lead the way. So without further ado, let's get into it. Greetings, good people. Welcome back from the holiday. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to a place where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. And today we're going to learn a little bit about Miss Bonds. Who is Miss Bonds? First of all, let me tell you, I'm Black Speakers Network. So you know she's dynamic, she has passion, and she has a cause that she is speaking about every time she opens her mouth. The cause, though, is what we're going to get into today. I love a woman that does not lay down and just take what the world gives her. She stands right back up with a 1-2 punch, learning how to matriculate through this world that we have that's always trying to continuously knock us down. So tenacity is what it's all about this morning. So stick around. I want you to tune in, be open-minded, and also be open to learning something new. Without further ado, I have me a new author today, Miss Lyreshia Bonds. How are you?
Hi,
Let the people know how you're doing, how the life is treating you, and you know what's going on.
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. One day at a time. One day at a time.
We've had quite a little interesting time making this happen, but she's East Coast, I'm West Coast. We had a little time difference, but what I've learned from her is that she don't care. She's like, I'm pushing through. We're gonna make this happen. And I want to know how you became that person, because there are some people that are like, you know what? Not today, ma'am. I can't. It's been too much. But I already know, like, you have that fight in you. So where does that fight come from?
It comes from a passion of wanting to be and needing to be heard and having to tell your story. As hard as it is, as trying as it is, as emotional as it is, I have to get my story out there. I have to tell my story, and I know the importance of me telling it myself. So, I'm a firm believer in by any means necessary.
I hear that. I want to talk about this job that you had. It was toxic. It was racist. It seemed like it drove you a little batty. So what was this position that you had? When did you realize I'm over it? I'm not doing this anymore.
I was a probation officer for the NJ Judiciary for 9 years. I received my criminal justice degree. I love criminal justice. I had a passion for law enforcement. I always wanted to go to law school, and I thought I had the perfect job because I was writing reports for the judges. And immediately, as soon as I got there, I knew it wasn't for me, because I knew my rights, and I knew I wasn't going to allow anything to happen to me. So immediately upon being hired and me being treated like a second-class citizen, no, it's not for me.
Most people will believe that a occupation that's based in law and justice and just righteousness, you would not have to encounter that type of treatment. Like, explain what that looks like. What did it feel like? Give the audience a little more context about what you were dealing with.
Okay, so immediately upon starting the job, I was closing on a house, and the attitude that I received was, you getting a house? Or the fact that I had a husband was an issue. Like, you got a husband? Like, the treatment as a Black person, everything, you're questioned about everything, and you are first of all, they don't train you to do your job. In order for me to be able to do my job successfully, you have to train me to do it. And even speaking to me and training me and letting me know what my expectations and rules were, that was an issue for them. So right off the bat, it was an issue. And me knowing the law and the rules, you can't hold me to a standard or expectation and you're not training or teaching me or telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. But then you're holding me accountable for not doing something that you never trained me to do. So it was a lot of double standards, a lot of psychological abuse. It was I tell people all the time, I had an abusive relationship with my employer.
Okay, follow me here, because I want you to add some context to this. I know for a fact that most jobs that are based in society and in dealing with social issues, in dealing with maybe young people or certain demographics, a lot of times they don't have great training. And I'm only saying that because I've worked with a lot of nonprofits, and most employees feel like they were just thrown into the fire, right? They were just thrown in there, figure it out. They give you a few guidelines, what you can't do. But for the most part, you are thrown into situations where you're just like, I don't even know.
The expectation is for, okay, so as a probation officer, I wrote the reports in the state of New Jersey. Before your sentence, a report is done on you, who you are as a person besides the charges.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to give that report to the judge. So when you get sentenced, the judge will say, oh, this is your name, this is where you work, this is where you live, your background, your history. This was, it was an accident, your first time. The judge has all the information. So I have to do a background check. They would not give me access. I would literally work there for 4 to 6 years before they even gave me access to a system that I needed in order to do my job. So training, yes, but that right there. And then they would say my reports were late. Now you had defendants having to come in to be interviewed. They didn't want to come. I was not told until 13 months after I was there that I could have just did the report and just wrote in the report that the person refused to come to be interviewed and submitted it. So they were letting me submit reports late the day before because the person didn't show up, and then put in my performance evaluation that I had a time management issue when you never told me that I could have did this report without the interview for 13 months. So I get like the training, but the things that they were doing personally to sabotage me and say that I wasn't a good employee when you're not telling me the things that I need to do. You're not giving me access, and you saying to me, well, why didn't you ask? I didn't even know the system existed. You didn't tell me that. You have to tell me that the system, and that I'm supposed to go into this system to check this report. You don't do that for 4 or 5 years, and then you come to me saying you never did this. Like, no, you never told me that I needed to do that. So that's a major issue.
That they weren't. Were they treating anyone else like this?
The Black people. The Black people. And it was the point where, okay, writing, I had to summarize the police report. So the Caucasian people would make a summary of what happened on this date and time. This person was charged with burglary by entering this address. My report had to be 2 or 3 pages. I had the date, the time, the weather, the police car, what street they was on. My report had to be longer. In addition to me writing a report that was longer, it would take me more time. Because if I have 10 and they have 10, but they're getting their 10 done because they're doing click, 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 and you have me keep rewriting my reports, you're harassing me over things that other people are not being harassed for. And so the Caucasian employees are coming to us telling Black probation officers that we're writing our reports too long, when this is how we're being trained to do it. But then the senior probation officers said, well, you're not supposed to put this information in a report. Well, you need to tell that to my supervisor. So it was a mess. A mess.
So you filed a lawsuit. Tell us about that.
Well, after me reporting now she was promoted twice since I filed my lawsuit in 2019. She is now the criminal division manager in Middlesex County, New Jersey, the same county that Asana Shakur has a warrant out for her arrest, and she's a fugitive from justice for charges out of this county. She is now the criminal division manager in that county. I reported her for being racist over her treatment of 9 people that I work with. Reported her for being racist over her treatment of Black people. She has since been promoted. They brought me up on false departmental charges after I reported her. I had FMLA because I had a family member with a medical issue. You can't write me up. I have FMLA. I was written up and suspended on false departmental charges, which is fraud. I have FMLA. You can't write me up. I filed my lawsuit in federal court with no attorney. The New Jersey Judiciary filed a motion to dismiss and lost against me in court. Then they fired me because of that lawsuit and illegally incarcerated my mentally ill nephew.
Now, how did that happen? How did those two things even connect?
as a probation officer, you have to let the court know if you have a family member involved with the court. I let them know that I had a nephew with a juvenile matter in the same county. They immediately said, this case is a conflict. This case is a conflict. We're going to transfer it to Union County. I reported her for being racist. They transferred the case that they said was a conflict back to Middlesex County, the county that I work in, where the conflict remains, and issued a court order against me saying that I cannot talk or have a conversation with anybody about my nephew because of the conflict. So you could just keep the case in Union County. They forced him to sign an illegal plea agreement for 5 years nearer at his emergency change of venue hearing. At his emergency change of venue hearing, he should have never been offered a plea. He should have never been offered a plea. My sister filed a letter saying my nephew has mental health issues. He cannot read. He does not understand what's going on. We need to get him out of this county because my sister has EEO complaints since I've been complaining about them since 2012. This is 2017, 2019. This is 2019. I've been complaining about them since 2012. My sister said she wanted out of here. They gave an immediate change of venue hearing. They forced him to sign an illegal plea. Now he's incarcerated in the Department of Corrections. There's a videotape of him being assaulted. The state of New Jersey, the parole, the Department of Corrections will not release the videotape to his attorney showing that he was assaulted. They are covering evidence. They're refusing to have him change his clothes for 6 months. He was in prison with the same outfit for 6 months. They refused to give him a new outfit. They refused to let his attorney into the prison to see him. They refused his family to visit. They refused us to visit him. They refused him to give calls home. They are torturing him while he's in prison. And this is why I'm fighting, because the fact that they're doing this to him because of my lawsuit, and I can literally document it based on their conflict, based on the change of venue, and you got a plea agreement. I'm trying not to cry, but it's
let me ask you this. You started your career with a love and passion for the criminal justice system and understanding it and working in it. How do you feel now in comparison to when you started? Like, talk to me about that.
That is why I wrote the book. I have a new understanding. What I didn't realize about the criminal justice system at the time is that Black people in law enforcement, your responsibility and your job is to support white supremacy. You are supposed to see things, but you're not supposed to say anything about it. You are supposed to see Black people being treated one way. You are supposed to see the double standard, and you are to be silent, because if you're not silent, you will be targeted. And as a Black person, I did not sign up. As me accepting my employment was not an acceptance of me waiving my rights, my constitutional inalienable rights. And that's where the issue came into place. And reason why I wrote my book is because understand how the court works. Once a lawsuit is settled, the allegations that I'm making, now I'm not only accusing people of discrimination in civil violations. I'm very clear. I'm accusing them of RICO charges, witness tampering, official misconduct, fraud, writing me up on false departmental charges. Not your witness tampering. You're literally holding somebody incarcerated in prison when there's a videotape, which is a violation of his constitutional. I'm charging people with crime. So I'm very aware of my allegations. Once this case is settled, all of the documents, and I have 2 lawsuits. I have a lawsuit in state court and I have a lawsuit in federal court. All the documents will be sealed because the court is going to make sure that they are sealed, and then no one will know what happened to me. That is why I wrote the book. You cannot sell the book. The book is not only my First Amendment freedom of speech, my First Amendment freedom of press, it is also my protest against what happened to me. It is who I am as a person and my fight for justice, what happened to me in the workplace, and why I believe it happened.
You mentioned your sister earlier. Is she also supporting you and helping you through this and working? This was her nephew, correct? I mean,
this is her son,
right?
This is her son, yes.
Her son, right. So what is she doing right now? How is she feeling? And how are you guys supporting each other?
I'm trying to be as supportive as possible as explaining to her, because again, a lot of times if you don't know anything about the criminal justice system, the rules and the laws, you don't understand what's going on. My sister is not a criminal justice. She don't understand like certain things, and I'm explaining to her they can't do this, they can't do that, because they try to say that they transfer her because she gave permission and try to switch situations. So it's hard. I'm literally hanging on by a thread, not trying to go crazy by it. I know my family blames me. They don't blame me, but it's my fault because I did what I was supposed to do by reporting it. And it's like, well, why would you report it when you see how they was treating you years before? I reported it because I had integrity. That was my bad for being a righteous person and having integrity, because I literally gave the information for them to use to come after me. So it's hard. And the fact that he's still in prison and he has mental health issues and he's not understanding, they're having meetings with him. They won't let his attorney into the prison to see him. His attorney, you're not giving him clean clothes for 6 months. 6 months, you have somebody in the same outfit for 6. You're humiliating him, embarrassing him, and torturing him because I filed a lawsuit. And in addition to my lawsuit, it's 3 Black people suing the New Jersey Judiciary for discrimination right now. It's 2
so
other
where
women.
is it? Where is it in court now? Where? What's the status?
I had court on Monday. They are refusing to answer any of our questions and give over any evidence. We're in the discovery phase. So I gave over everything to prove our case. It's 3 of us, my state case. They are refusing to answer the questions. The Attorney General for the state of New Jersey is representing the people we are suing in court. The Attorney General for the state of New Jersey is in charge of investigating discrimination complaints in the state. The Attorney General for the state of New Jersey has 3 Black attorneys suing them for discrimination as we speak. It's funny, but it's not funny. But they are literally being sued for discrimination right now. The Department of Justice just took over Trenton Police Department, and the police chief in Trenton just sued the same lawsuit as mine, discrimination and harassment. She was brought up on false departmental charges and fired because she tried to get rid of racism. And hers was in June of 2022. I found mine October 2019. So
what's next? What's next for you? You have the book. You are fighting on a regular basis, I guess, day in and day out. What is next for you, and what can people do to support you?
I did 2 documentaries in addition to the book. Me understanding the fact that this is going to be silenced, and me understanding that is a panic. I do not want anybody to profit off of my pain. I do not want anybody to, and you know how like the media, like movie companies are doing about different lies, about different, nobody's going to profit off of my pain. So in addition to my book reserved the rights to my story. I did 2 documentaries on it. I'm trying to get as much information about my case out there because, again, once these documents are sealed, the accusations that I'm accusing them of, they're not giving over evidence now. Things are going to disappear. And in order for an investigation and people to be held accountable, I have to make sure that certain things are not covered up. I am not silent. So it's 2 documentaries on my website. I released those 2 documentaries, and I'm hanging in there. I'm holding on by a thread right now.
What's the holidays like for you? What did you guys do for Thanksgiving? What did that look like?
You want the honest truth? I cried the whole week. I'm in grad school, so I have 1 class, and then I'll have my master's in public administration. So I'm trying to finish my research paper, and I'm literally just trying to hold on. I have 2 kids, and I'm literally just trying to hold on because my nephew is incarcerated. They're not giving him access to the phone. They're not letting him call. I'm very angry. Yeah, I'm hanging on by a thread. I'm not okay, but there's nothing I could do but tell my story. After I get up here, I'm probably gonna cry, because I feel like I'm not even being heard, even with the media attention. I called the FBI yesterday. I called the DOJ. I called the U.S. Attorney. The FBI is asking me, why am I calling them? Public corruption is a crime. Official misconduct is a crime. These things, I'm advocating for an investigation. With there being a lawsuit, there's supposed to be an investigation. So I don't feel like I'm asking for too much, but my nephew's been incarcerated since March of 2019. It's 2023, about to be 2024.
With what crime though?
He was in a Chinese food restaurant, And the owner of the restaurant tried to hit him with the wet floor sign. My nephew defended himself from being hit. There's a videotape. They won't release it. They charged him with second-degree robbery. When he signed his plea, I filed my initial lawsuit in October 2019. I named the prosecutor, the public defender, for their actions in having him sign a plea because it was in retaliation of my complaints of discrimination. The public defender gave him a pool attorney. That a pool attorney immediately filed a motion to withdraw his plea. Based on his mental health issues, he should have never been offered that plea. He should have never signed that plea. And why was he even offered this plea, even these charges, based on the evidence that they had in the case? If the judge would have ruled in his favor and said he should have never been offered that plea, that would have proved my lawsuit right because of what I filed in my lawsuit, and they didn't want to do that. So they just sent him to prison. Why they would have confirmed what I said in my lawsuit if they would have released him. If they would have said no, he should have never signed that plea. So now you're legitimizing my argument, and you can't do that. That is why I wrote the book. Kyrie Irving donated to my nephew's GoFundMe account.
Oh, wow.
Kyrie Irving, thank God for him. I asked him, and I literally tweeted him, and he tweeted and made a $50,000 donation to my nephew. And my nephew has attorneys. My attorney, they're sending emails to the prison. The prison is not answering them. So people say, well, what are the attorneys saying? They're Black, just like me. They telling me, like, I don't know if they're happy I'm going to the media or not, but they can't go to the media because they'll lose their license. I don't have a license. Y'all fired me for my job. This is what I do all day.
What is your relationship like with your sister right now?
We're 10 months apart. We literally have the same name. I don't think she's mad at me. I'm more mad at myself than I believe they are mad at me. I don't think she's mad at me. I just think she didn't understanding the system. When you tell somebody my story, you wouldn't believe it. And like the guy who did my documentary had to investigate the claims that I'm saying. And he was like, oh my God. And he's a famous director. The fact that it's happening in real time and documented is just like,
this is wild.
I need a public relations expert so bad and I contact people. I'm going, what do I do?
It's
what
wild.
What do I do?
It is really wild because you are living it as you are continuing to document it, write about it, and fight for a better outcome. That is absolutely wild. So how are you dealing with your own mental health? Because I heard you say earlier how angry you are, and sometimes that anger can make you lose focus. Sometimes it can fuel you to keep you going, but sometimes you get so angry, you burn it up inside and you lose focus. So what are you doing to stay focused, not only on the goal of telling your story and fighting for him, but finishing your degree, taking care of your kids? How do you stay focused? When you are balanced, what is your North Star? How do you get there?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I just know that I have to do, it has to be done. I know I'm his only voice. With him having the mental issues that he had, they were drugging him in prison to the point where they were giving him medications that were causing memory loss, seizures, and stomach issues. So I know that if I wild out how I want to wild out, I will be no help to him.
Right.
So I know that I have to help him. Like God put me, and me and God was having this fight yesterday. Why me? I have my son is a freshman in high school. My daughter is in seventh grade. So I'm trying to raise these two kids. Now they both made the basketball teams for their respective schools. They're both on honor roll. My son is in the STEM academy. I am literally hanging by a thread. I don't know how, with no money, because I got fired from my job, to be able to take care of my needs, so I don't know how, but I'm hanging by a thread, and I started the business. I did the book with my unemployment. I don't know. I just know I have to bring attention to what's happening to him.
Continue to build My advice is to continue to build a coalition around the issue. People are very much issue driven, and corruption and the mistreatment of Black and brown bodies by the system is an issue. But don't let it eat you up. You got to stay focused. What are you getting your master's in?
Public administrations, or public corruption, I guess.
I'm surprised you wouldn't just go ahead and get your law degree and handle it yourself.
I'm applying to law school right now because I already know I'm going to law school because I know the fact that they think they're going to get away with this, the fact that I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, and I'm actually paying the criminal division manager, my whole purpose in life is to fight public corruption. And again, when they had me working there, they had a court order, so I couldn't talk. Now I don't work for them. I'm singing it like Tony Braxton. Breathe again. I went to comedy school. I'm a comedian, so if you laugh at me, I appreciate it. I had a show on when I had my comedy show. I had the 20-something. I forgot. The 19th, the November 19th. So I'm going to talk about it, but I literally am living in my purpose. My purpose is to fight and help bring attention to what is happening, because I've been to every social justice advocate you can think of. I've been to them. I've given them copies of my book. I've talked to them. I am going to be the change that I need to see, because no one seems to be helping me. So I have to help myself.
Well, we're going to do our best to make sure that the word gets out. We definitely appreciate you taking time today to come talk to us about your story and your book. So before we go, let the people know how they can stay connected to you and how anyone that sees this can reach out and become a part of your journey and your goal.
Lyreshia Speaks. I try to make everything as easy as possible. LyreshiaSpeaks.com. LYRESHIASPEAKS.com. My Instagram is Lyreshia Speaks. My Twitter is Lyreshia Speaks. My TikTok is Lyreshia Speaks. On Facebook, they literally block Lyreshia Speaks, but it's Lyreshia Love.
Did you say they block?
Yes, because when you talk about empowerment and your people not being wanted to treat a certain way, that was a violation of the community standards. That was a violation. I'm so censored on social media. Lyreshia Speaks, because Lyreshia is speaking. I'm telling everybody and their mama what happened to me. I stopped people at red lights, Target, ShopRite, and in the court document, one of the questions was, "Who have you talked to about this case?" My response: everybody and their mama, and their mama. I'm calling their mom on the phone, telling their mama what happened. I'm singing it. You're not gonna silence me. They get away with treating us like this, and then they'll say it never happened. No, it happened to me, and this is exactly how it happened. And I wrote a book to make sure you won't be able to silence me. Yeah, no. Everybody and their mama, and their daddy, stepdaddy, baby daddy, anybody.
On a side note, before I let you go, I'm working with another podcaster to actually have a series with comedians, because one thing I know for sure is that there's a lot of pain that comes from the comedy that they bring us. So stay connected. Let's make sure that we, stay connected on that one. I'll let you know when that's coming up. But I do want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, allow me on your platform. Hopefully someone will hear your story. They'll contact me and they'll lead me in the right direction, because I'm doing this like a blind mice.
Just keep going. That's really it, man. Just keep going.
Definitely.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. You heard it here. Make sure you stay connected. Find out more. Get the book. I love for y'all to read. Get the book, read the book, and then give her a review. You never know how what you have to say and what you share with someone else can how it can impact someone else's life. So don't miss an opportunity to be a life changer. All right. It's your girl T. Peace, love, and good vibes. I'll see you soon. Hey, thanks for showing up to the podcast where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. When you get a sec, take a moment, leave a comment. What you think about today's episode, and share it with someone that you know could use the gems that were dropped today. Follow and subscribe. You don't want to miss who's coming up next. You never know who could show up here and what they could say. For your professional needs, marketing, PR, communications, and leadership, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Sand and Shores, or hit us up at sandandshores.com. Again, thanks so much for showing up. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.